We've got a good amount of people in here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for another AMA. Really pumped to have a chat with BigMoose and Dodo, the founders of Zaidan Clan. So very, very briefly, Zaidan Clan is essentially providing the ability to have fractionalized ownership over DAG nodes and be a part of the DAG ecosystem through investments, amongst other things. So, a lot of people that have come into the DAG space have, one of the biggest questions I get asked is how much is a node and is there a cheaper node because I can't afford that node. And obviously that has inspired you guys to provide a solution for those people, which there are many. Not too many people can afford 250,000 DAG. Even at these low prices, it's still a fair chunk of change, probably around $18,000, which is, it's nothing to turn your nose up at. It's still a fair bit of money. So these guys have put together Zaidan Clan, and they're working really hard. They've made some great partnerships that we'll get into a little bit later. And yeah, I just want to start off, Moose and Dodo. Just really, most of the AMAs we get into, I like to find out a bit about the founders, about what's inspired them, about their journey, how they've got to where they are today, and how this idea came around, and sort of finish up by bringing us back to the current day and where we're at now.
Dodo, you want me to start or you want to go first, buddy?
You guys start. No problem.
No worries at all. Like I said before, I really appreciate everyone being here again. Our lives are so busy and there's so much going on for y'all to dedicate some time to listen into us. It isn't wasted on us. We really do appreciate that. A little bit about myself. I'm from the United States. I'm married for many years now. I think going on almost 17 years with my wife. I've got a little 2-year-old, and really that's what kind of got me into the crypto journey. So we were together for a long time. It's not as easy for everyone to have kids. So we had a little bit of a journey of our own. So in late 2017, hey, Moose needed some cash. So we heard some stuff about crypto. So I got in late 17, rode the bull market up, and didn't really know what I was doing. But either way, ever since then, I've just been hooked. So hooked on new projects, hooked on anything that's innovative, hooked on anything that's been problem solving. Obviously, you've got your long-term plays, you got some degen plays, you want some passive income, whatever your portfolio looks like. And then basically, I've always been a little bit entrepreneurial in real life. I do have an in real life job, but I do have my hands in a couple different things. So either way, that's when kind of Twitter started to grow a little bit. I started to try to grow my account. And that's really where I met Dodo. So Dodo was putting out some really good work. He had a very good insight into a lot of projects. He's got an eye for good projects that have good fundamentals. So him and I linked up, and he kept telling me this thing about Constellation, and I didn't know what he was talking about. I was confused. I was late to the party compared to some of the early guys like Dagnum. But either way, he convinced me. I learned about it and then just kind of became obsessed. And again, this was during a little bit of the bull market, this most recent one. So a DAG node, like you were saying, Psycho, 250,000 DAG could be $30,000-$40,000 at the time. And light nodes were a question mark. Everything was kind of a question mark. Lattice Exchange, you'd have to have early enrollment to get into certain things, to do staking. And it just really seemed like there was higher barrier to entries for such a revolutionary project being built. So that's when Dodo and I, we had the idea, hey, if we can get people in the door for a lower price, offer a cheaper option than a $40,000 DAG node, we basically have a collection of 5,500 samurais, Zaidan Clan. Zaidan in Japanese is foundation. So again, if Constellation is layer 0, that is essentially the foundation. So, we've got a little bit of a play on that. And so that's really what we kind of came up of. We said, hey, if we can have a community of people that can't reach this high barrier, but if they can mint a whitelist $80 or a mint price of $120, that's a pretty low barrier to entry, and we'll get rewards in the process. And so really we've just been building these last several months, making connections, making partnerships. I'm just a regular dude. Dodo's just a regular dude. We don't have a fancy marketing budget or tons of whale money in the bank to just throw at influencers and people to shill. A little bit more of organic growth. And yeah, before I keep rambling, I guess that's a 30,000 foot view of a many years put together.
Awesome. I think a lot of people share the experience of getting into the crypto in 2017 and just getting absolutely wrecked. That's what happened to me anyway. I fully rode the the green dildos right at the peak, and you can bet your bottom dollar old Sykodelic was some nice exit liquidity at that bull run. But
Oh, we thought we
you
were
know,
geniuses. We thought it was just going to
yeah.
keep going up forever.
Yeah, you just don't know, and you have to learn the harshest lesson possible, which is getting completely spanked by the market. So, no, that's interesting to hear your story, Moose. And I think, I think projects that hold value and do well are born through solving problems, not just in the crypto market, but in life in general, in business in general. You look at something that is and you think, oh, how can I make that easier, better, and more accessible for more people? And I think, obviously that's what you guys are looking to do, is turn the elusive DAG node into a more accessible and attainable option. And albeit, you're not going to be earning the full suite of rewards, and you're not going to own a full node yourself, but you're going to have a bit of skin in the game when it comes down to the sort of power on the hypergraph. So awesome. So I think what would be good to sort of cover next is give us an overview of Zaidan. So how's it going to work? What's the process going to be? So we're going to have a mint. It's going to raise funds. People are going to own an NFT. Then what's going to happen from there?
So once I'll take this. So once we have minted and once let's say we have a substantial amount of mint done, we, as I said, we have already partnered with some of the biggest projects in the ecosystem. We will make sure that our buys are at such points which doesn't hurt our treasury. So we will make strategic buy points. We will make a strategic investment plan where we are able to secure good ecosystem tokens like LTX, like CBD and ADS, which we feel would be good over the short term as well as long term. So our current focus after the mint would be the investment structure, and second priority would be developing the DApp for the investors.
Okay, so essentially, to to simplify what's happening is there's going to be a mint that's going to raise capital. Investors are going to receive NFTs for their investment. And then from that point on, the capital is going to be diversified and used within the DAG ecosystem. So X amount is going to go towards DAG nodes, but you're also going to be taking a percentage of that treasury, and you're going to be strategically investing it into DAG ecosystem products to grow that treasury as and when the ecosystem has its mega pump, which I'm very
Exactly.
confident will happen.
So currently we do have a structure in plan, but that is as per, let's say we do a 50% mint or we have a huge success in the mint. So if we are able to achieve that, then that mint structure is ready. We have it with us. But if there are any ups and downs in the mint progress, we can always change it. But our main focus would always be a DAG node, because we know that the considering the generative economics, DAG is what will increase substantially in the long term, and we can diversify as and when we go forward. So yeah, the current focus would be DAG nodes, and then depending on the mint, we can diversify in various projects as well.
Cool. So the
And I
next,
can
yeah, go ahead, Moose.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to jump in there too. I mean, and it is going to evolve with the community, because we definitely we want to be rigid in the sense that we have a structure and a plan to diversify the treasury, but we also don't want to be too rigid to where we're picking a project the community may not, be in favor of. So we're going to have some flexibility with the community as to what we do, but the definite allocation is majority of anything that's going in the treasury is going back into reinvestments into projects. And so one of the big ones that we just closed and announced this morning was our deal with Greenheart CBD. So
Yeah, dropping the alpha.
dropping the alpha right here. I mean, we really just announced it an hour ago. So
That's massive. That's massive. Congrats.
it really, I really appreciate that. I mean, we work with a bunch of different projects. We see a lot of stuff from LTX. We see a lot of stuff from BioFi. We see Jam and ADS, but the damn Greenheart community is fire, man. Everyone is hyped for what these guys are building, and they're literally going through. I'm not divulging anything, but they're going through some rebranding and things like that right now. So we couldn't have used their old graphics and things like that. So if it looks a little wonky, that's why. But again, that's their alpha to share. That's their alpha to launch and post everything. So, but yeah, so again, I guess what I was getting to is that, the goal here is obviously to get DAG nodes, but then it's to have a foothold with the DAG projects such as Greenheart to say, hey, let's do an over-the-counter deal. Let's do a partnership. How can we invest in one another in this growing ecosystem? Because there are a lot of unknowns right now. I kind of was talking to Dodo early this morning about, say alpha shares, and which we are launching on alpha shares. But what they've built is brilliant. You have their particular NFT, and you're getting rewards just like a damn slot machine in your bank every day for every transaction on their application. And that's not something that you guys could expect from Zaidan, in the sense that this is a longer term play. We're all in a gold rush right now of Web3. We're in a gold rush of layer 0, where there's a lot of unknowns, but you know what? If we're here, we're aware of those unknowns, and we got the picks and shovels and we're ready to go. So that's kind of where we're at now. We don't know the volume of rewards. Again, that's going to be dependent on what gets sold out over time and how large the treasury becomes. But yeah, we're all betting on something that we believe in, and really to the point, it's a different option. If you want to run a light node, that's fantastic. You want to get a door miner for $5,000, that's awesome too. You got 17,000 to run a node, that's great. And you can also have a couple Zaidan NFTs to diversify your portfolio and earn rewards from us too. So we're really giving options to the people.
Yeah, and I think that kind of brings me on to my next question. So I'll sort of elaborate a little bit myself. I think there's probably people in the audience listening right now that have been involved in some style of passive income project that happened over the last 10 months, whether that's Strong Block, whether that's Thor, Red Light, any of those kind of passive income plays that paid X amount of percentage every day.
Right.
They kind of they ruined the expectation of an investor when it comes to making money, because you could make a hell of a lot of tokens over a very short period of time, but then your tokens became worth nothing because the project had zero utility, no revenue, and it died and everybody got burned. But I think still that has left the taste of high rewards, instant, give me this now, instant cash, I want to get rich. Everybody's still trying to play that card in crypto. And anybody that's been around in crypto for more than 1 year and is still here has learned that, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and you can't get rich quick. And if you do, you probably won't keep it because you haven't learned how to gain that, that financial power. So one of the most important things that I believe you can exercise as an investor is patience, and, looking at the right projects and understanding that you are going to make money, but it's going to take a little bit longer, but being okay with that. So I think what you guys are looking to do is, you're transitioning away from that. You're investing in an ecosystem that has incredible potential. The nodes are the utility because they generate revenue. The rewards may not be skyrocketing in your pocket from day one. It's something that's going to build up over time, but
Right.
it's something where your money's invested in something that has real utility. So you can, there's a relative, nothing is ever guaranteed, but there's a relatively high level of sort of dependence and security in your investment. Is that correct in sort of how I'm saying it?
Yeah.
100%.
So, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead, Edo. You're fine.
So yeah, you talked about passive income and patience. And that is definitely important because uh, I'm from a finance background, and I always thought that I would never fall prey to the Ponzi-nomic schemes or anything like that. But I was the first one to invest in all these node projects, and my eyes were lit up after seeing the 1% and 2%. I used to count daily. Okay, I'm going to get my arrow in 20 days, 30 days, and after that, it's just everything's going to go up. But that never happened. So I can only imagine that how many people must have fallen to that. So, and that was not passive income. We were actively looking into those investments, actively looking how we can strategize. So that is not passive income. So after considering these two aspects of sustainable rewards and it being an actual passive income, we came up with a plan. Okay, let's just give the actual rewards to the NFT holders. What we get is what we give, and let's just keep all the NFTs equal. There will be no rarity in terms of rewards. So yeah, every NFT would get the same reward. So an investor only has to think, okay, if I want a bigger chunk, I will buy more NFTs, or I'm okay with two NFTs or one NFT. So these are two main aspects which definitely played a role in deciding how we are going to distribute our rewards. That is, like as you said, patience for the long term and passive income. It is, you can actually call this a passive income.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I think it's providing a more of a level, fair playing ground. And like you said, if people want to be exposed to more rewards, then they can buy more NFTs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good shout. So sort of just a sort of recap. So essentially, what Zaidan is doing is running a mint for NFTs. These NFTs are going to provide essentially fractionalized ownership into DAG nodes and ecosystem products and other things that may come in the future. These will provide
Yeah.
rewards, and these NFTs are all the same. They're the same value. They provide the same rewards. If somebody wants to have more, they can buy more NFTs. Now, a question I was going to ask you is, are the NFTs resellable once they're purchased, or are they bought for life?
Yeah, definitely. They're tradable on Alpha Shares marketplace.
Okay, cool. So they are tradable. Cool. So
Yeah,
you've also then you haven't got you also avoid that sunk cost. So your capital isn't continually tied up.
it isn't tied up. Also, an investor, like if he really wants, he can think, okay, the potential income in the coming months would be X amount, and I've already bought it at Y amount. So my floor amount logically should be X plus Y, and this should create a competitive price in the market, and an NFT holder will always get a premium price for his NFT in the long term.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. All right. I think you guys have explained the overview quite well. I don't think it's a complex idea. I think, oftentimes with these kind of things, simple is easy. You're providing the opportunity to be involved in DAG nodes and the DAG ecosystem and earn passive income through an NFT ownership. So I think very simple, very easy to understand, and something that a lot of people are looking for. So Mint is coming up quite soon. Do you want to just confirm exactly the details for Mint and whitelist and everything like that?
Sure. So all the whitelisted members, the mint will start on 22nd September, uh, 10 a.m. EST Eastern Time, and that would be
Okay.
continued for 24 hours. So you don't have to worry what location you're in. You have 24 hours for the whitelist mint, and you can mint up to two NFTs each wallet at $80 in AVAX. And for the next 24 hours, it would be open for the public, and you can mint up to a maximum of six NFTs at $120 in UX. So if there's a huge traction towards the website, you still have the third day when the rest of the people can mint, because there's a 24 hours gap and a six NFTs limit per wallet.
Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, cool. Well, I think, in all honesty, we've covered the sort of, the understanding of what the project is, exactly what you guys are going to do. So I think what we'll do, if you guys have got anything else that you want to say now, anything that you think we might have already, and then we can move on to some of the questions, because we've got a few questions coming in from the audience. So if you've got anything else you want to add.
I do have one, because I did get hyped up. I think I got my blood pressure up talking about Greenheart, and then I went on a ramble. I just wanted to say practically about Greenheart, how that works, because you see a lot of times that a partnership has been made between two different organizations or two different protocols, and it's like, well, what really does that mean, kind of? So, Greenheart has its own products and services. They've got staking pills that then go directly to fund the different farms. So you're basically an investor in a farm. They've got other options where if you're staking, I think a million coins or whatever it might be, you're going to get a large discount of their physical store, of their physical CBD products that are going to come from all these farms. They're also working on an NFT marketplace or an NFT project. So when we say that there's a partnership, a little bit of diving deeper into that, or even diving deeper into an ecosystem investment, is that our first DAG node will be issued to Greenheart. So that is the level of partnership. I mean, they're going to be running our DAG node. That's the handshake right there. And also what comes with that is that we can use Treasury to, say, put into some of their staking pills, which is then going to be a diversified revenue stream back to Zaidan Clan. Whatever they build out with their NFTs, if there's a reward function there, whatever that might be, heck, we might invest in that and then bring those rewards back to our community. And so that's kind of what we're planning on doing, is diversifying and not just saying, hey, we've partnered with these people and we've paid them for a handshake deal. It's not that. I mean, it's really getting ingrained and mutually benefiting both projects. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit deeper, instead of just name dropping and saying we did something, yay. Well, this is actually what we did, and this is actually what will benefit you as an NFT holder. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for clearing that up, Moose. Yeah, I think that's a great partnership to make, and good to have that under the moving forward. I think Greenheart are going to be a very successful project. I think I haven't really seen a much better case for real world utility than what it is that they're doing. It's extremely innovative. And if you're listening and you haven't checked out Greenheart, I highly suggest you go and have a look. I do have a deep dive on Greenheart in the Discord server, down in the education section in DAG projects. So I highly suggest checking that out and seeing how they work. Okay, cool. Well, thanks very much for that, guys. So we've had a few questions from the audience and got a few still rolling in. So let's go over and have a look. So cool. So first question's from Necro5. Welcome, buddy. Thanks so much for listening. Appreciate your question. Is what is the minimum number of mints for this project to be viable? If there is a minimum, what if the minimum is not reached?
Well, if what we think is minimum is at least one DAG node. So if that minimum is not reached, we always have the options of DTM miners, door miners, and we can also always diversify into the ecosystem tokens, that is LTX, ADS, and CBD. So we are not thinking of what wouldn't happen. We are just keeping our options ready at all possible situations.
To that point too, I mean, we're seeing what the market's doing. Even massive projects would have big budgets that have been marketing for months, and they launch, and it's maybe not as successful, because you could throw a dart in a bull market and raise $1 million for a project. It's pretty simple. So I guess what I'm getting at is that I don't know that we're expecting to mint out everything in a day. It'd be fantastic, But whatever time frame it is, if we get enough in the treasury to get the DAG node, then bam, that first goal has been achieved, and we're going to start. We're planning that way. But if there's a little bit of a lag and we're not able to get that DAG node initially, to Dodo's point, we may say, hey, the treasury is 10K. Let's get a door miner. Let's put some over here in these CBD staking pills, and maybe have it as a community vote. But we'll provide the guidance and the leadership and the options. But basically, the investors, we want their say as well.
Yeah. So essentially, it's once you've got enough to invest in DAG nodes, then you'll do that, and then the what comes from that will be split between however many people own it. There isn't a sort of minimum number of NFTs as such, because you'll be going after the nodes. Cool. So yeah, thanks for that question, buddy. Next up, it's pretty much the same question. Cool. We'll go down to the other one. Cool. So this one's from Azula Node Nation. So did I understand this correct? Will our NFTs be moved to the void? Is that something that you're looking into? Is that in conversation? What's your answer to that question?
Yeah, it is definitely in our plans to move to void, but as of now, we are not focusing on that because what we want, our focus and concentration is creating a efficient and good portfolio. And once we start our discussions with the dev about the tab, and once we have the modules for void, that's when we can actually decide, okay, this is the right time to move to void, because we all already have a conversation with alpha shares to be on the NFT marketplace.
Yeah. Well, I think, at this stage, the void doesn't have any definitive answers as to when it's even launching. We
Exactly.
had a brilliant AMA with them last week, and super pumped and super excited for what it is that they're building, but there wasn't really any definitive timelines on dates. So, as a project owner and what you guys are doing, you can't really be thinking about something that you don't have any certainty behind. So, but yeah, I mean, I think what the void are doing is amazing, and I think that looking to move over to the void and add some smarter logic into your NFTs and create some more utility down the line, I think is an exciting prospect for an investor to get in to get in early, because once you mint out, you mint out. Obviously, NFTs can be sold on the secondary market, but if you have a fully minted out NFT collection and you then begin adding in some epic utility because you're working with a void and using their stack to do so, that's only going to add value to the NFT that people hold. So I think at the end of the day, no matter what you do in a bear market, it doesn't matter how good the opportunity is, you're going to be holding something for a little while before you see some decent gains. Whether that's Bitcoin, the number one project, if you buy that now, it's not going to double tomorrow. And I think a lot of investors will do well from having a more long-term mindset, because before you know it, 6 months is past, and all of a sudden your bags are bigger, So I think now's the time to be looking at opportunities that are going to pay you dividends into the future. So cool. Appreciate that question, man. Yep, go ahead, Moose.
I was going to say, I've almost likened it to my personal experience with Haven Protocol. I'm not, shilling a project, but privacy is very important to me. And Haven Protocol was dumped and then picked back up by a great dev, and basically it's off chain, or it's basically Monero forked privacy coins with a privacy wallet, and they've had XUSD and all different types of stuff. Either way, I spent $1,000 on 2 different GPUs and just had them mining during the bear market. And so that was a large investment that I wasn't seeing any returns on for months and months and months, because it was something that I believed in. And I knew that if I just had it going, it would potentially pay dividends. Bull market came, coin exploded, and it paid dividends. So it's when we talk about investing, I think, like you were talking about earlier, we've been tainted by invest today and get your money back triple tomorrow. That's not the way it typically works, and that's not how it works long term. But if you thought of this as, say, mining, you got something running in the background and you're getting a little bit at a time that could potentially be large, is a great way to think about it. And except here, you don't have to buy thousands of dollars of hardware, and you don't have to spend cumulative thousands of dollars on electricity. You're just throwing a couple AVAX at it, and then it's sitting in your wallet. So it's not a bad proposition.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for clearing that up, man. And I completely agree. So move on to the next one. So the same guy asked the question, but I think we have already covered it. He said, will it be possible in the future to stake additional funds to your NFTs to increase your shares? But Dodo, I believe you confirmed that it would just be the case of buying another NFT if you wanted to increase your... Yeah. Okay.
Because if we add this feature, it would only contradict the fact that we are selling on secondary market, because that wouldn't make sense.
Sure. No worries. Thanks for clarifying that, buddy. Okay, so next one is, will there be a possibility to receive the rewards in DAG tokens? So how does that work looking into the future?
So it all depends on what kind of deals are we making with the state channels. Let's say we make a deal with Greenheart tomorrow. Okay, we are giving you additional 2 DAG nodes, and we want this X percentage in DAG tokens for the rest of the year or next 2 years. So it all depends on what kind of deals we make with the state channels. If we get the tokens in DAG, we will distribute the rewards in DAG tokens. If we get it in their native tokens, the layer 0 tokens, we will distribute it as it is.
Okay, so the investors can expect to receive different rewards in different tokens from their investment. Is that right?
Yes. So yeah, so it all depends on what kind of deals we make, and obviously the deals will be discussed and communicated to the investors at the time.
I actually quite like that personally, because I think that provides a diversified reward structure. And investors can have exposure to different projects. And if they don't want to have exposure from those projects, they can always sell those tokens for something else. So that's cool. All right, cool. Thank you, Dodo, for clearing that up, mate. Cool. So let's have a look. Next question. Well, we just answered the next question as well. We seem to be doing that a few times. We'll go to the one after that. So the next question is there a 6 months initial compounding going on, or how rewards are paid to investors after mint? So I think what he's trying to say is, will there be a compounding period through the rewards you earn to increase the treasury, or will rewards be paid to investors after mint? So I guess maybe just speak a little bit about how the rewards are going to be paid. Obviously, mainnet hasn't even launched yet, so how's that process going to work? If somebody buys an NFT in the mint, when could they ideally be looking to expect receiving some rewards, and will you be doing any compounding?
Okay. So yeah, as you said, the mainnet wouldn't be launching anytime soon for all the state channels, for a public state channel. So I think we can expect up to 3 or 4 months for substantial rewards to get in, because of course we can do the soft staking right now and get the 10 to 15% APY, but that wouldn't be substantial to distribute to the NFT holders because it wouldn't feel much at the moment. So I think you can expect substantial rewards in 3 to 4 months' time, which would be in L0 tokens or DAG tokens. And by that time, if the DAG node value has increased, you can expect the L0 token value to be increased and your rewards increased as well. And
Okay.
coming to compounding, we do have 3 options laid down. First being distributing all the rewards to the NFT holders. Like we distribute each and every reward what we've earned. Second option would be reinvest 100% of the income, so we can compound and grow. And third option, which we find is more optimal, is have a certain percentage distributed to the NFT holders, certain percentage reinvested, and a certain percentage which is team distribution and costs. So we think the third option is good because it will grow the project and also satisfy the investors' needs at the same time. And in the long term, it will help us uh, meet these two conditions as well for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And I think it's probably a good time to mention that the reason why, well, this is an assumption on my part, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why the mint is happening now before mainnet is because you're looking to take advantage of these prices in the DAG ecosystem, because right now we're talking about DAG only being worth about 180 million 190 million dollars, which is insane in my opinion. So right now you're minting, the investors that are coming in and purchasing an NFT, they may not be receiving rewards straight away, but they're benefiting themselves and the project by getting involved now to acquire these DAG nodes and these investments at the optimal position. So when things do start to turn, which I believe personally will be towards the end of the year, then the rewards and the gains that will be made for everybody involved will be far greater, because the mint was done at a more optimal time price wise for the ecosystem. Is that right?
Definitely. Like, this is the part where gets me more excited, because let's say if we say tag for $10 in a year's or 2 years time, it doesn't feel much. But a tag node for $10 is 2.5 million. And let's say and on a conservative basis, you get 10% in rewards, that is 250K per year. And that is a huge deal. And we can cap we can capture that with getting in early and profiting on the price appreciation over the 2 years. So that is where things get very exciting for me.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, when you talk about companies like Lattice Exchange having a
Yeah,
$14 million market cap, Alchemy having a 12, $11 million market cap, these are all projects that have, multi-billion-dollar market cap potential over the coming years. So this goes back to, playing the long game, you know, doing something today that your tomorrow self will thank you for, and will pay dividends. So yeah, that makes complete sense, and I think that it's a good decision to take advantage of the discounts that we have right now, because in a year's time, people that got involved in these early prices will look back and give themselves a serious pat on the back, hopefully. I mean, look, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. Um, you have to have some form of strategy. So awesome. Cheers, Dodo. Thanks for that, bud. So let's move on to the next one. So I think Moose has already answered this in the chat. It was a question about doxing and the website. So the website's been provided. And so do you want to just quickly talk about the doxing, Moose?
So what that is we're pretty close with the AlphaShares team. I've kind of been involved with them for a little while before they even launched, and then helping potentially onboard different NFT projects to them. So, I mean, to be quite honest, doxing, KYC, this is becoming an industry of its own, and I'm not knocking it. It's definitely needed, and transparency and trust is at the utmost importance. But we've learned that you can't blindly trust a project if it just says, "Hey, we're KYC and docs." There's a lot of prerequisites to this game. And some of the projects we talked to, they wanted 10 grand for a docs or a KYC or whatever it might be. And that's just not tangible at this moment. So we went ahead and did the docs with AlphaShares, basically getting on a call with them. They're verifying ID, credentials, things of that nature. So that way, we're extending the trust with that team, and they're seeing it. And then they're basically saying, yep, these guys docs with us. They are who they are. That's what I personally feel comfortable with doing right now. Again, I love being in the space. I love being a quote unquote influencer, or putting positivity out there and opportunities out there. But 100% first and foremost, I've got a wife and a family, and that's of utmost importance. So long-winded answer, but yep, docs the way we wanted to do it with AlphaShares, and we're pretty comfortable with that, and we hope the community is as well.
I mean, again, in my opinion, I agree with you in terms of the KYC industry becoming an industry of its own, and sort of leveraging that
Yeah.
collective sentiment behind projects being doxed and using that to their advantage and charging extortionate prices to provide some documents. And we've I I believe that projects always need to be transparent, and I think building that in your community is very important, but having a publicly doxed decentralized finance team is not always completely necessary. Some of my best investments in DeFi are completely anonymous teams. I think having a solid multi-sig and the liquidity managed in the correct way is largely just as important. So, and what you guys have done doxing with Alpha Shares is essentially the same thing, and they seem to be a respected project in the space. So yeah, cool. Thanks for that, Moose. All right, so let's see if we've got any other questions. I think Moose has answered a few in the chat.
Should
Okay.
I not be answering them in the chat?
No, that's fine. You go ahead, man.
Okay.
You go ahead. Yeah. You knock yourself out, Big Moose. Cool. So I think we'll do a couple more, and then we'll begin to wrap this up because I know you guys are busy. So I think this could be a good time to talk about the whitelist, Dodo. So we've had a question about it. So do you want to let the listeners know what it takes to earn a whitelist spot, and if they have any chance of getting one?
Um, can I know who asked this question? Sudeep, right?
Oh, it's from Sudeep.
Yeah, I think he's one of whitelist spot. Even Necro, even Fab, Patriot, Merchant, Jay, Azula, Eddie, Rock, Tiki, Chronism, Joto, SJS 103159. Everyone's, because I know Psycho did mention that there are some, but we decided, okay, whoever joins the call and stays until then will get a whitelist spot. So feel free to DM me and I'll sort that whitelist spot for you.
So yeah, if you haven't got a whitelist, then you have now got a whitelist. So congratulations. We appreciate you sticking around to the end of the call and yeah, listening to this great AMA from the guys. Okay, cool. So let's do a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. So cool. So there's another question from Decon. It said, "Are the team going to be running hard nodes when the mainnet goes live? And do they know what that entails?"
Sorry, I don't get the question exactly.
He's asking, "Are you going to be running hard nodes?" So I think
Well, yeah. Sorry, good.
no. You go ahead, mate. If
No,
you've got
if you
something
could
to say.
explain it to me in more detail so I can answer it better.
Yeah, that's the only thing I think he's asking if you're going to be running any different type of nodes to what it is that we're speaking about. But from my
Yeah.
understanding, you guys are going to be providing nodes to state channels on the network, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So I guess that answers his question anyway. We'll do the other question from him because that one was quite short. If you invest in DTMs, do you have any plans or ideas on when they will be placed at this stage?
Yeah. So I think you and I discussed briefly about DTMs, and we know there is a cap on the DAG rewards from the DTM miners. So it all depends on what kind of bounties we get at a later stage, and do we have the resources to be able to achieve those bounties at that time. So yeah, on a short term we could take DTMs, but a long term we will look into it. We will have a strategic plan, and if that works out, we will definitely get those DTMs. And if there are no bounties, I do have a plan. We can rent it to general stores, and we can give them their data, and we can ask for rent. But that is something which is not on my mind right now. But if we are to be going into DTM, there will be a strategic plan considering the bounties and what we would do if there are no bounties.
Awesome. Yeah, now that makes sense. I think it's wise to see how things. It's wise to have a plan for what you might do in a situation. But I think what you guys are doing, focusing on the nodes, onto the state channels, and having a look to see how the mint goes, because obviously we're in the midst of the bear market, and working with your investors over time to figure out, a good move forward, and communicating. So awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Dodo. Well, it looks like everybody's happy with their whitelist, so congrats, guys. That's awesome. We appreciate you being here and listening to the guys cover this. Okay, cool. So we'll do one more question, and then I think we'll get it wrapped up. I know you guys are busy, so let's have a look. We've got some support for alpha shares. Good stuff. And okay, so I think this is probably, we'll do two more because there's two good questions here. With potentially so many different tokens coming back in rewards, do you guys have a recommended wallet for people to hold?
Yeah, we'd recommend to create a Stargazer wallet right now, because that's the official wallet for DAG. Get used to that wallet, because we do have a plan to implement a system where you just put your DAG wallet address where you want your rewards to go. And if you claim, the rewards would go into that wallet. So as of now, I'd recommend create a Stargazer wallet, and just get used to that wallet, because that wallet supports Polygon network, Ethereum, uh, Binance, AVAX, each and every coin. So it's good to have that wallet as well. And yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, the Stargazer wallet looks really promising. I'm really
yeah,
pumped on that, to be honest.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you for that. Last question, Dodo, is will rewards be distributed in perpetuity as long as I hold the Zaidan NFT? So as long as they're holding the NFT, rewards will be provided. Is that correct?
Yeah. So let's say the rewards distribution is next week, and you hold the wallet as of that date, you will get the rewards. And once you sell, whoever's bought the NFT would get the rewards. So you have to think about, okay, what are my next potential rewards, and according to that you have to sell your NFT, because that makes sense at that time.
Okay. Awesome.
Also, one more thing I wanted to add before we wrap it up. We do have Sykodelic in our multi-sig, and also Zenpai from Twitter. So, and really appreciate you all being on the multi-sig and trusting us with this. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I like what you guys are trying to do, and I think a lot of people are looking for opportunities to get involved in the DAG ecosystem, and benefit from a node, and there isn't really too many options right now. So I think that's very positive. But yeah, listen, thank you everybody for joining in. Really appreciate you guys sticking around, and you've all earned yourself a whitelist. So give yourself a pat on the back. And Dodo, do you want to just finish up and just remind everybody the minting process over the next couple of days and what they need to do if they have whitelist?
Yeah. So whitelist will be on AlphaShares NFT marketplace. All you got to do is have $80 or $160 in case you decide to mint two of NFTs in AVAX. So what I'd suggest right now is just keep uh, the amount in USDT, and on the date of mint, just convert it to AVAX, and then buy the amount of NFTs you want, because that would just avoid the fluctuation prices in AVAX. And that will be on 22nd for 24 hours. So don't worry about your location. You can do it at your own time. Just see the start date. It will start on 10 a.m. Eastern time. You have 24 hours, and then the next day it will be a public mint for $120 in AVAX. Again, the same process if you want to do it at that time as well. And if you to confirm your whitelist, honestly, just to confirm your whitelist spot, send me a DM. I've taken a screenshot of this attendance, so feel free to DM me. I'll sort your whitelist.
Great stuff, man. Thank you so much, Dodo. Apologies, Moose, that you've been booted out at the end of the AMA, buddy, but appreciate you coming in and giving everybody a really good breakdown of your project. I'm excited for you guys to launch and to sort of help out anywhere I can. And, to everybody in the audience again, thanks so much for tuning in for another AMA. Appreciate you being part of this Discord server, and we'll continue to grow it and offer as much value and exposure to new exciting projects like this as much as we can. So thank you very much. And if you ever have any questions or need anything from me, feel free to @ me in the chat and we can connect. So Awesome, guys. Thank you, Dodo. Enjoy the rest of your day, buddy, and we'll hear from you soon. And good luck with the mint.
Thank you so much, and thank you for hosting us, and thank you everyone who joined. We'll meet soon.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.